Wanted to ask a couple of quick follow-ups and ask about, you have so much data on measurement and segmentation to be able to access audiences in a unique way and count with a much fuller sample size. I'm curious about the ecosystem that you guys are the hub of, with all the different spokes in your business. Can you speak to the types of organizations that are using your data sets best today, and is it we're going to plug in with everyone, or we're going to pick and choose and kind of learn from some established players? Is there a strategy behind it, or is it kind of a just let's get it all out there and have this be like oxygen?
Look, the strategy is simple: to have a census-based system in TV. We don't have that yet, except for video on demand, but it's massive and passive, working with a large number of the multi-channel distributors in satellite, telco, and in cable. And we're doing that for one reason. The advertiser, the ad agency, wants to understand how we as consumers behave. Now, they buy ads on a platform, but they build their plans across the United States that necessitate certain local markets, and within those local markets, certain hyper-geographic areas. And that is what we believe is the genius around what we're doing. It allows an advertiser to look at markets like where we are now, Miami and Fort Lauderdale, and how it feeds up into their national buy, and how the seller who is covering this area can price more correctly, if you would.
So I wanted to ask about that seller. We talked earlier about the trends around the political category and how that's been sort of a leading indicator, if you will, or where some of the more advanced uses of data have been. There's also an old stereotype that I think is being broken down a little bit, where national team seems to get it first and then local follows national. Partly because of the inventory that's available in addressable and advanced television. But have you also found, to that example you just gave in Miami here, are there more practical applications where people are realizing the aha moments and having it be a part of their rhythm on a local level that could then feed back into national as that inventory starts to become more available gradually over time?
Well, I think it's a multiple part question.
Yeah, so that was 6 parts. Take whichever part you want first.
The thing that we're seeing is that advanced targeting is more advanced in the local markets. And I think that's because the local ad agencies that live in those local markets see that when they make a different decision based on advanced targets, advanced demos, they get better results. Okay? So because they're so close, and it's not synthesized in a national campaign in that they can't touch it, they can only touch the data.
Yep.
I think it's more advanced here. And I think it's also becoming more accepted in the national market because all 210 local markets with what we're doing at comScore adds up into the national number. And as advertisers push for this greater accountability, they can look at how local markets are different.
Do you see the sales teams handling that inventory? We always, the integration work we do or the training often can be done more easily at a local level or with smaller independent agencies, because you have more of a generalist and there's more of a necessity really to have someone handle multiple disciplines at the same time, whether it's different digital channels of buying or what have you. Do you see that because there's maybe either less room for error or the upside can be greater at a local level, and to your point, they're seeing that ROI much more definitively than on a broader campaign? Do you feel like there are lessons learned, and is the national sales force to be transformed, and do you see it ultimately being a part of what a national salesperson does representing television inventory today, or this is a separate team and it's being better handled right now by this other specialist group?
I don't think we can get out of the way of this train of advanced targeting, or what I call it, advanced demographics. Advertisers and ad agencies have seen how they work, but these transitions don't happen overnight. What we have today is clearly a system that uses age, sex across everything, but they're also using advanced targets across many, many things, and generally in the high profit categories. But we're also seeing it in the consumer packaged goods area, where you look at Jimmy Dean's sausage and Ballpark Franks. You're never going to sell those products to a vegan, right? And they really do transcend age, sex.
Yep.
But picking the right TV shows are important. And when you look at the good work that folks like they have done in buying very differently, they're selling more products. So again, we're in this steamroller, and as a very wise man said, you know, the way you build a big snowball is find a large hill with wet snow and roll it down. And that's what advanced television is today. We're rolling down a nice hill with wet snow that's fairly steep. So we're early inning of a mega trend.